Question 13. In triangle RST shown below, altitude SU is drawn to line segment RT hitting at U. If SU equals H, UT equals 12, and RT is 42, which value of H will make triangle RST a right triangle with angle RST as a right angle? So for these kind of questions, I don't want to get into the full detail as to why it is what it is, because this is just a geometry review. I want you to get the Regents questions correct. You can go check out some other video that talks about the actual reason why this is, but for the sake of this, I'm telling you one thing. For the most part, for most geometry Regents Common Core exam questions, if you see triangles inside of triangles inside of a bigger triangle, they're probably similar if some sort of thing is true. In this case, that's exactly what's going on. These three triangles, this little one over here, this medium one over here, and then this whole big one, RST, sorry, maybe I should say the little one, UST, the medium one, USR, and then the giant one, SRT. These three triangles are similar as long as this is a true altitude and this angle over here is right. So that's going to be the basis of this. If it's a right triangle, if it's a real altitude, I can assume that all of these triangles are similar, and then I can just figure the things out and see which one is correct. So I just want to find which value of H. And so it's going to be the value of H that satisfies the fact that these guys are similar. All right, I'm going to have to draw this picture on my paper. So let me do that real quick, and we can jump into this question. Ooh, already off to a bad drawing start. Here, let's see if I can salvage it. Not bad, not bad. All right, R, S, T, U, H. Then I also have UT is 12, and RT, this whole thing, is 42. I'll do the H in red also. That way all of my values are red. Okay. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit here. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and assume that this is a right triangle. These are all similar. Because if that's what they're asking you to figure out, then you can plug that in there, see which one matches it, and then you'll get your answer. So one way that one thing you're forced to do here is to visualize these three different triangles: my medium one, my small one, and my big one. If you have difficulty with that, don't try to use your brain and visualize it. Like, you have pen and paper, it's a tool to make you smarter, right? It's like an extension of your brain that you don't need to keep rattling in there with all the other thoughts. So let's draw the three different triangles that I see. I'm going to draw SUT. SUT looks like this. It's got a right angle, H, and 12. I just took that from the small little triangle over there. Now I'm going to draw, let's see, I said SUT, I'll call this one RUT. So RUT is going to be this, this, and this. Here's my medium one. I've got the right angle there. H, and RU, well, I had 42 the whole thing, 12 over there. RU will be 30 because 42 minus 12 is 30. Just I want to make sure you follow that. All right, that's my medium triangle. And then I'll draw my whole big triangle. Well, hopefully you can kind of see that as that's one of the obvious ones, right? R, S, and T. I'll just kind of scribble that one out there. All right, now I've got my three big triangles. And by the way, this has a 42 and nothing really else. So I'm probably going to just be using my middle-sized triangle and my small-sized triangle. All right. Well, here I can find what H is going to be by using these similar triangles. You can't really see it in my picture, But if you look at here, this h is my medium size. Maybe I should have made this a little bit taller, and 12 is my short end. So I can set up a fraction, 12 over h. This is my small over my big. Camera. There we go. My small over my big. So this is the small side of my small one over the big side of my small one. And if these triangles are similar, then this fraction should be equal to the same thing, small over big. So then small over big, h over 30. And so now let's go ahead and do this. So 12 times 30, I'll do my cross multiplication. Ugh, I don't like doing cross multiplication. I'm not putting that on the internet. Let's do, all right. I can do multiply by 30 on this side. If I multiply by 30 on this side, I have to multiply by 30 on this side. That's just algebra. It's not some weird magical trick cross multiplication. Blech. I multiply by 30 on both sides. That's totally allowed, because that will then get me 12 times 30 over h is equal to h times 30 over 30. 30 over 30 gets me 1. H times 1 gets me h. So that cancels off there because it'll just come up as h. 12 times 30 is a big old number. I'm not going to embarrass myself, so I'll just use a calculator. 12 times 30 is 360. Maybe it's embarrassing that I couldn't do that in my head. So now I get 360 over h is equal to h. Now I can multiply this h on both sides. I'll switch back to colors so you can see what I'm changing new to each one. H times h times this whole thing on the left side, h times that on the right side. I'm just using algebra. H over h, that cancels out to being 1. I'm left with 360 is equal to h squared. All right, let's see. Don't forget, this is not my answer. H squared, I need to get the square root. I want h by itself. So I'll do square root to both sides. That's because my square root cancels off with the h squared. And root of 360. Root of 360. Well, I know 360 is the same thing as 36 times 10. And that'll just stay underneath the root, and I can bring down this just lonely h. And I know I can split up square roots into root 36 times root 10. And I bring down that h. Root 36 is just 6 times root 10 is h. Root 10 doesn't break off into 4 and isn't 16. There's no square root here, and I don't think they have decimals. You can see, our answer for number 13 is 2. In case you have difficulty with doing this sort of thing, just come up here, use your root 360 equals h, and just plug this into the calculator. Plug each of your multiple choice answers in the calculator. Whichever decimal matches up will be the right answer. If you do that on your own, you'll find that 2 is the correct answer, in case this whole bit confused you over here. All right, so our answer for this is number 2. H should be 6 root 10.